See the White House, it looks so elegant, right? So historic. But don't let that fool you. It's actually one of the most heavily fortified buildings on the entire planet. And today, we're going to peel back every single layer to see the insane security that protects the President of the United States. Let's dive in. So, let me ask you something. What do you think happens when someone actually shoots at the White House? I know, it sounds like something out of a crazy action movie, right? But believe it or not, this isn't some hypothetical question. It has happened. And the answer? Well, it tells us a whole lot about the very first line of defense. Okay, picture this. It's a November evening. Back in 2011, a 21-year-old guy, Oscar Ortega Hernandez, he parks his car right there with a clear view of the White House. He was convinced the government was up to some kind of conspiracy, so he pulls out a rifle and fires at least 8 shots right at the president's home. The building was hit. Thankfully, nobody was hurt. But wow, what a chilling moment. It was a real-world test of the White House's defenses, and it showed just how serious the threats can be. But you know what's absolutely wild? Just how much things have changed. Get this, back in 1842, the author Charles Dickens, he just wanders up to the White House, finds no one at the door, and just lets himself in. Can you even imagine trying that today? No way. It's completely impossible. The White House has gone from being this open house to a literal fortress. And that's exactly what we're going to break down layer by layer. All right, so the very first layer of defense, and honestly the most important one, it isn't a wall, it's not some fancy tech, it's people. We're talking about an elite force of men and women who literally form a living, breathing shield around the president. So this human shield is really made up of 2 key teams. First, you've got the people you see, the Secret Service Uniformed Division. They're the ones in the sharp uniforms, patrolling the grounds, standing at the gates, manning all the checkpoints. But then you have the Invisible Guardians, the ones you don't see. That's the counter-sniper team, perched up on the roof with a bird's eye view of everything happening below. And listen, getting into that uniformed division, it's unbelievably tough. I mean, the physical and mental exams are just brutal. Then come the background checks, and they dig into everything. Your family, your finances, everywhere you've ever traveled. And if you somehow make it through that, you're looking at 29 weeks of grueling, nonstop training. They learn how to spot a threat in a huge crowd, how to de-escalate a situation without ever drawing a weapon, and how to make these split-second, life-or-death decisions. So what about those snipers on the roof? You probably think their job is just to, be ready to shoot, right? Well, that's actually not their main job at all. In fact, their first job isn't pulling the trigger, it's observing. They're basically intelligence gatherers, constantly scanning for anything. And I mean anything that looks out of place. And here's a crazy fact for you. In the entire history of the White House, a counter-sniper has never fired their weapon in defense of the building. Their most powerful tool isn't the rifle, it's their eyes. Okay, so we've got the people covered. Now, let's move out to the next layer of this fortress. Let's talk about the physical perimeter. That huge 18-acre lawn. And, of course, that iconic fence that surrounds it all. And this fence is a perfect example of how security is always evolving, usually because something went wrong. For a long, long time, the White House fence was about 6.5 feet tall. But in 2014, that fence failed. A man jumped over it and ran all the way to the front doors of the residence before he was stopped. I mean, can you believe that? It was a massive wake-up call. It exposed a huge flaw and immediately triggered a complete security overhaul. So the old fence, a pretty jumpable 6.5 feet. The new one? They literally doubled it. We're talking a much, much more intimidating 13 feet high. Yeah, and doubling the height? Well, it wasn't cheap. This brand new high-tech fence came with a staggering price tag of $64 million. But it's not just taller, it's smarter. The fence posts themselves are packed with pressure sensors, so if anyone even tries to climb it, alarms go off instantly. But okay, what if someone actually gets past that beast of a fence? Well, the lawn itself is basically one giant trap. The entire ground is laced with pressure sensors that can detect footsteps. At night, you've got infrared sensors scanning for body heat. All these systems talk to each other to make sure it's not just a squirrel setting things off. And just in case, for good measure, there's a canine unit of specially trained Belgian Malinois that can run 30 miles an hour. Yeah, good luck outrunning them. So an intruder has to get past the Secret Service, a 13-foot smart fence, a minefield of sensors, and attack dogs. But let's just say somehow they do. Now they're face to face with the building itself. and that is an impenetrable core. And hey, remember that shooting incident we talked about at the beginning, the one from 2011? Well, that whole thing was basically an unplanned, real-world stress test of the building's exterior. Because those rifle rounds, they slammed right into the windows of the residence, and the windows held. That's because every single window in the White House is made of this special laminated ballistic glass. Basically, bulletproof glass on steroids, designed to stop high-powered rifle rounds. And here's the really clever part. The frames aren't just attached to the wall. They are anchored deep into the building's main structure, which makes them incredibly resistant to blasts. And the doors? Just as tough. We're talking heavy, reinforced, blast-resistant doors with these super complex, multi-lock systems. So, protection on the ground is obviously intense, but what about from the sky? Well, the White House sits under what's basically an invisible dome of security. It's one of the most restricted airspaces on the entire planet. And just like the fence, this aerial shield got way tougher in response to real incidents. Back in 2015, some guy crashed a small hobby drone right onto the lawn. It exposed this huge vulnerability nobody had really thought about, these small unmanned aircraft. Then, in 2023, a private plane flew into the no-fly zone. You know what happened? Within 12 minutes, it was surrounded by 6 F-16 fighter jets. These events forced a massive and rapid upgrade to their air defense. So today, there's a 15 nautical mile no-fly zone around the whole area. It's constantly being scanned by RF scanners and special drone detectors. If a rogue drone shows up, they can hit it with signal jammers and just take it out of the sky. For bigger stuff, there's reportedly an Avenger air defense system right on the roof, ready to take out missiles. They even have a fleet of what are basically kamikaze drones that can launch and physically smash into any airborne threat. Okay, so we've got agents, fences, sensors, dogs, bulletproof glass, and a missile defense system. But what if every single one of those things fails? What's the absolute final last line of defense? Well, for that, we have to go deep, deep underground. Just imagine the absolute worst-case scenario. A catastrophic attack is about to happen. The White House itself is compromised. Where does the president go? They go to the PEOC. That stands for the Presidential Emergency Operations Center. It's a bunker hidden deep beneath the East Wing, and it's designed to withstand a direct nuclear attack. Most of us first heard about this place during the 9/11 attacks, when Vice President Cheney and other top officials were rushed down there. Now, the exact depth is classified, but it's believed to be over 1,000 feet underground, completely shielded from a nuclear blast. And down there, it's not some dusty old cellar. It has a complete state-of-the-art communication suite that allows the president to command the entire military and run the country from a place of ultimate safety. So when you step back and look at all these layers together, the people, the physical barriers, the tech, the bunker, you start to realize something. The goal isn't just to stop an attack if it happens. The real goal is to project such an overwhelming, powerful image of invincibility that nobody would even think about trying in the first place. And that really leaves us with one final thought, doesn't it? After seeing all this incredible technology and all these fortifications, what do you think the White House's greatest defense really is? Is it the steel and the silicon? Or is it the idea of power itself? A defense built not on technology, but on psychology. Something to think about. Thanks for watching.